Welcome to the most glamorous episode of The Run-In ever, coming to you live from a hotel room somewhere near the OT. It is every bit as glamorous in here as it looks, and we have a crew behind the camera who are loving every second of it. But we have just got back from Money in the Bank, and it was, to be fair, excellent. And I think, Ariel,
yes,
my guest,
yes,
my friend, you dressed up for the occasion.
Yes.
You never sit in a hotel room without having your best suit on. How did you enjoy this evening?
Guest, colleague, co-host.
LinkedIn connection. Actually, we haven't got that far yet.
Yeah, no. I haven't updated mine in quite I think 2 years. I enjoyed the show very much. I thought it was, first of all, shout out to the crowd. Holy smokes, makes all the difference in the world, right? They were incredible, and I mean, we will talk about the John Cena thing, but like London deserves big events. That was a lot of fun. Overall, there were some surprises. There were some good results. I enjoyed it. Money in the Bank has become one of my favorite pay-per-views because, as I think we were talking about yesterday, just like Royal Rumble, you can kind of strap a rocket to someone, right? They become instantly in the title picture as a result of this pay-per-view or PLE, and they may not have been in that title picture before the night. So we have some things to talk about, some surprises, some fun moments.
Should we start with the big one? Should we start with Roman?
Sure.
We have to, right? Roman
Yes.
and the Usos and Solo Sikoa. The Bloodline Civil War, as it was called, and it was the match delivered. The crowd were going mad for it, and actually, the sort of 45 minutes or so before that, I thought, oh no, they're getting a bit tired. We've been at things before where it's gone to the 4 hours.
Yeah, it fizzles
you notice that it fizzles out. But the way they were for that match, the whole thing, they were going crazy. They're bringing out the whole repertoire of football chants for Roman as well.
I loved it. I couldn't understand any of them. I kept having to ask you what they were, and it's amazing to me how you were able to pick them up like that. I guess it's just in your DNA.
It's almost like I've spent Saturday afternoons for the last 30 years just trying to make out what people are saying.
I mean,
and pretending I made it up.
And it worked perfectly. And the way that they were able, like there was one about a car in Santos Escobar.
Sold my car to Lucas Paqueta / Santos Escobar.
I love that one.
WrestleMania. Yeah.
Oh, really? They did that
Yeah,
one
they did
too?
that as well.
All right. Wow, I missed that one. So
Roman, yeah.
Yes, back to Roman. Back to the main event. I enjoyed it very much. I was not surprised that the Usos won because I thought this was an opportunity to have Roman lose, but it's a tag team, and so I would have put anything on this. Usos win. They're white hot right now. They're clearly the baby faces. Everyone's behind them, but they pin their brother. So Sikoa and Roman's streak of not getting pinned stays intact. What happened? They pinned him clean. That was shocking. I was shocked. Were you shocked?
I was, massively. I thought exactly the same as you. I thought it was going to be Solo Sikoa. I then also thought when the referee goes down, I think, oh my God, it's happening again.
That always happens.
And I think you being Canadian, us being British, I've seen so many times that you get that result that you want teased, and you think, well, they're never going to do it here. And the second that ref went out, I was like, oh, Roman's going to win again. And then the finish, God, the way the crowd went mad. And do you know what? The Usos, when they came down, they're always good. You know, they've been around for 13 years. You were speaking to them 2 days ago or yesterday, whenever it was, and you did the aerial meets, and you know, they've got real stage presence now. People are calling them like one of the greatest tag teams of all time, and I think that's fair enough. And I think in 5 years' time, people will be very much certain whether they think they are or not. But the way they came down tonight, you could tell there was a different energy about them, and I think the crowd singing their song to them, it was like they were almost having like all their dreams as entertainers happen at once.
Oh yeah,
you know, they were main eventers. They were with their family. They were almost like, in a way, it was like they were headlining Glastonbury, you know, because everyone was singing at them. They were singing back. It was like the entrance went on. And I just thought, wow, there was something special going through their veins tonight.
Amazing. And in England, right? Like they have no connection to England. The family doesn't as well. But again, kudos to the crowd. They were great. But I was thinking of something that they told us on Friday when we sat with them. Like their dream is to go against each other at WrestleMania. But also part of the dream is like, we're running the show, right? We're on top. And here's 4 family members, 3 brothers in the main event running the show, right? Everyone was there for them. That was the biggest story going into Money in the Bank, and it's the biggest story going out. pretty darn cool. And the match lived up to the hype, and I kind of love the decision. First of all, I love anything that's unpredictable in wrestling. I hate when it's predictable, right? And we'll speak about LA Knight in a moment. That was somewhat predictable, I think, for most people. Like they're like, oh, yeah, that has to happen. No, it's fun when there's a curveball. Roman getting pinned clean. First time since 2019. 4 years the guy hasn't been pinned. That's an incredible streak. And it happens tonight. Jey Uso gets the honors. Pretty amazing. I can't wait to see where this goes.
And I didn't realize until I was using one of my 600 Twitter posts a day to look afterwards.
On fire. Fastballs, 98 miles. What would that be in cricket? What's like
98 miles an hour. It will stay 98 miles an hour.
No. Like what's like a fastball in cricket?
Just a seamer. Yeah.
But like, what's the
bouncer?
Like, no, but does it get to 100?
Body line.
Does it get to 100? Because in baseball, like what would it get to?
Bounce.
60.
This is the second time we've merged cricket and wrestling.
This is what's happening right now.
In 2 days, yeah.
And Pete Dunne, I was going to call him, but Butch, he brought out a kick it
stick.
I mean, it's 3 a.m. in the morning. I'm sorry. A cricket
Ariel goes
stick.
to me, is that a cricket stick? A cricket bat? Yeah, he did.
So the cricket's in the air.
But anyway, 3.5 years since Roman's been
pinned.
And the parallel.
Who pinned him?
Jay. And it was the parallel.
No, who pinned him 3.5 years ago?
Who did pin him 3? It was Baron Corbin.
Wow.
There we go. But that wasn't the point I was trying to make. No. It's the parallel between the first time he ever got pinned, Jey Uso, splash off the top.
Oh.
And the last
That's
time.
That's a callback. Almost 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. The finish is exactly the same. I stole that from someone on Twitter. Someone far more eagle-eyed than me picked that out. I'm not, an encyclopedia. I can't remember that. But whoever it was, shout out to you.
With it. I actually thought that you thought of that on your own.
I've been doing extensive research of my 600 posts a day. But yeah, so now it's like,
really
where do you go with the storyline now? It feels like everything opens up now that he's not invincible anymore.
Well, it kind of has felt for a little bit that his invincibility has, he's getting kicked in the head almost every week now. Yeah. He's getting knocked out by his cousins. So, yeah, I'm really curious. This is going to lead to something big at SummerSlam, which is, a month away? A little over a month away, August 5th in Detroit. What do you think it leads to? Does it lead to Jey versus Roman? Too?
Yeah. But I still don't know if Jay's the right person to do it. I think after WrestleMania, I said, do you know what? Jay's the person to do it. And now we're here. And I think we were speaking earlier. It's like, there's so many times there's been this nearly moment of who's going to be the right moment, what's going to be the right moment. Now I'm like, is Jay at SummerSlam the right moment? It probably would be incredible.
It should be Jimmy.
Well, I mean, Jimmy really impressed me in that interview.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, we were in the room with those. They are huge. I reckon the Usos are genuinely terrifying men to have a fight with.
Yes. And to be in the same room with. Close quarters if you piss them off.
Ariel's so scared. It's great.
But no, do you remember WrestleMania 2000 when it was
the four corners? The McMahon in every corner.
Do you think we get that at some point?
What, a Samoan in every corner? God, imagine the footwear
Solo
on display.
versus Roman versus Jey versus Jimmy.
Oh. Well, that's what I was thinking they were going to say yesterday when they said the dream match.
Just the four of them.
The four of them.
Yeah. Dream match has to be brother versus brother. Yeah. How many times does that happen? I really don't know in what direction. I mean, obviously this is going to continue. Feels like Jey versus Roman. I don't know if it's too soon for that, to be honest. And that would be for the belt. But him getting the win lets you know that this is obviously going to continue. And why wouldn't it? This has been a tradition for 2 years, so we might as well. Does it all lead to The Rock versus Roman? We have literally.
They're calling it The Rock's coming back at Payback.
For 2 years, we have literally predicted this time The Rock is coming back. It has literally, you could go through a compilation right now.
Yeah.
Almost every single one of these, at some point, someone has said, maybe this is when The Rock comes back.
Every 3 months, me and Ariel are in a hotel room or on Zoom, be like, well, there's only one thing this leads to: The Rock's coming back. He probably isn't.
No.
I'm coming to accept that. But if John Cena turns up in London, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe The Rock turns up at Payback or somewhere else.
Here's the big question. Will one of the Usos be the one to take the belt?
Story-wise, I think, yeah, it should be. I just don't know if
Which one?
You have to go with one, then you lose them as the team, and then it leads to the WrestleMania match and the Dream match.
So, I mean, it's kind of right there, right?
Who knows? I've got no idea where it's going now, because it's 3 or 4 times someone's been built into the person. I think like, this is it. This is the story. But it's still the best story going at the moment. And I suppose one extra wrinkle you can add to it now is Damien Priest having the Money in the Bank briefcase. That opened the show. Let's go through the show kind of in that order. An excellent match. The main thing I'm thinking about is, what do you think it sounded like and looked like backstage when Ricochet and Logan Paul Spanish flied through a table, and Logan Paul, who I'm guessing is probably paid $78 million per breath, goes head first through a table. Oh my God, that was terrifying, but a really, really incredible match.
Incredible match, as expected. All 6 performers were great. That moment, I mean, obviously Ricochet and Logan have a history now of pulling off some really big spots, but it looked like Logan didn't quite have his bearings, and then they just went for it, and it looked like he landed on his head through the table, like maybe hit the barricade and then hit his head. That was terrifying stuff. Those ladder matches, I don't know if it's me just getting older, but it's like all the stuff that they do with the ladders, and they're swinging and they're falling on them and they're crashing through tables. All of it terrifies me. Honestly, can't imagine what it feels like afterwards. And during the match, I did reach out to Logan. I thought he like broke his neck, God forbid, but like it was that scary, right? Do you agree?
Yeah, but
he said he's okay.
That's the thing. I mean, I looked at him afterwards, and just more credit to him, because I think somehow the two of them improvised. It was a bit hairy, but they pulled it off.
They did pull it off. I thought he was going to win. After that, I was like, okay, maybe he's not going to win. Looks like he's knocked out, but anything could happen. I really thought he was going to win, and as I predicted on Friday, I thought he was going to get help from KSI. In the end, KSI was there. The only help he provided, though, was a drink to just, rehydrate. I thought he was going to help him out. And if it wasn't going to be Logan, I thought it was going to be LA Knight, because LA Knight was white hot by far. Would you say LA Knight was the most popular of all the baby faces? I know he's like kind of like gray, but at this point I just consider him a baby
I think
face.
so. I think coming out he was. Let's take the Usos out of it. I think that match is obviously on a different level.
Cody did get a big pop too.
Cody was huge, but Cody's
YoSky
match, again, we'll talk about that later. It was almost like a match to have the guy who gets booed the most and the guy who gets cheered the most on the show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It felt like it was a good match, but it almost felt like it belonged at a house show or something, or like a main event of Raw.
Sure, that's fair.
But I'm glad that they were there, because the crowd wanted them both there.
Yeah.
But yeah, LA Knight,
LA Knight was on fire, so I thought he would win. I really didn't think Damien Priest had a shot. Now, here's the thing. When I was watching it live, that match, I was like, I don't know if I love this, to be honest, because I just don't feel like he has the same, momentum as some of the others. But then when I saw the Seth Finn match, and then saw the interaction, and in case you missed it, he comes in and teases that he's gonna cash in, and Finn loses to Seth, and Seth thinks, or afterwards, Finn was like a little bit annoyed with him and all that. You can't really hear what it. Then now I kind of like it. But I'll be honest, he wouldn't have been my top choice.
No, but that's the thing with Money in the Bank, isn't it? It's the opportunity to bring someone out of nowhere.
Exactly.
And I feel almost sometimes putting it on the fan favorite hinders them more than helps them, because it gives them. It's a weird situation, isn't it? Because if you're like the brave, good guy, the hero, to then cash in when someone's all beaten up, it's almost not the right story, is it?
I mean, look at Seth back in the day, though, right?
Yeah,
that was a great moment.
Of the century. Yeah, fair enough.
Liv last year.
I'm completely wrong.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. But I just didn't feel like he had that momentum, or has that momentum. I know he had a great match against Bad Bunny in Puerto Rico back in May. And so I think what's going to be fun about the briefcase is it kind of affects the Judgment Day as well. Yeah. I would say I don't really want to see the Judgment Day break up just yet. I feel like sometimes they break up these teams a little too soon, i.e. Ronda Rousey, Shayna, Baszler, which we could talk about as well. So there's tension there, but I hope it actually doesn't lead to a breakup, because I think that they're just kind of getting rolling right now, with Dom being so polarizing, and Rhea, etc.
Well, let's lead straight onto that then. The breakup of Shayna and Ronda. Sorry, And the crowning of Raquel and Liv Morgan, which was, I think, was a bit of a surprise. Highlight of that match for me was you completely being worked by Liv Morgan.
I was 1,000% sure that she had dislocated her elbow. By the way, credit to her. She was yelling, screeching, and I thought I was waiting for the X. You know, they do the X. But I found out that wasn't the case. So well done. I'm a mark. But we've already established this, right?
Yeah.
I'm a shill. I'm a mark. I'm a jabroni. I'm all these things. So again, what were you surprised that they broke them up? They broke up.
I wasn't
Shayna
surprised that they broke them up, but it was a strange moment because it didn't feel like it came from anywhere. But
it feels like it happened like fast, right? Although sometimes when you're not watching it on TV, like on TV, they'll drop subtle hints that you are missing when you're in attendance because you're just looking at everything, right? So who knows how we didn't obviously watch it on TV, but I was surprised that Shayna turned on her. I will say, though, Shayna got a huge reaction when she did so, and I'm not sure if that's because they just love the idea of Shayna as a babyface, or was it just because they hate Ronda Rousey? I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. Probably a little bit of both. I think Shayna, when she was that monster, when she first moved up to the main roster, I think people were really on board of it. And then she's kind of cooled down out of nowhere. So the idea of having her back in the big time, making a big star out of her, because I think she's really capable of it.
She is, yeah. Can she be that A-lister? Remains to be seen. Do you like the idea of Shayna versus Ronda, or do you think Ronda goes away after this?
And that has to happen.
Yeah.
And it makes itself. I think the interest is there from the backgrounds, the mixed martial arts background. I think they will be a great match.
And what the hell do you do with the tag titles? The women's tag titles?
I'm not sure. And it's been almost like a not poison chalice, but it's been the tag title has proved to be a little bit of a burden a little bit in the women's division so far, and they're all
certainly for them,
trying to make it something. I actually thought the Ronda and Shayna team was it's good to have like a dominant team that fit and the stories fit.
Good to have a dominant team. Also good to have a team that actually fit as a team.
Yeah.
Right? Like they are friends. There's some cohesion. I don't like when it just feels like it's cobbled together teams. They have no history, they have no friendship, and they're just putting them together because they can't think of anything else to do with them. And so I'm really curious to see they need a New Day. They need a New Usos. They need a Pretty Deadly, like a true tag team in there to kind of establish everything and make it seem like, oh, these two people are coming into WWE just to be tag team champions, not because they have singles careers and they're coming together for a 2-month period. And to the best of my knowledge, that team isn't quite there just yet. And so I'm curious to see what they do. I mean, I think, Liv and Raquel will be great, and they made the titles feel, important. They seemed happy. Also, they were the champs. They had to give it up. So it's fine. It's a fine storyline. I actually thought the match was pretty good. But I'm wondering when, that team is going to show up in the women's tag team division.
Yeah, I think there's a few of them. They're trying to get a few going, but I think it's going to take time, and obviously the merging of the titles with NXT as well, I think, should help.
Did you like that?
Yeah, I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, less titles the better.
Yeah. Next up, I think, was Gunther Matt Riddle. I might have got the order wrong there, but a match that was a lot shorter than. And actually, do you know what? The thing you said about TV, I think, was true of this, because I read that the story of the ankle was really built up on commentary, and they built up beforehand, but. In terms of being there live, the Drew McIntyre return.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, incredible. And someone who obviously had that moment. Well, it was a special moment. He headlined Clash at the Castle in front of 70,000 people in Cardiff. But for him to have another moment like that, I always feel like every moment Drew McIntyre has, he really deserves because of being robbed of that moment in the pandemic. I always feel so happy for him.
Yeah.
And all the rumours about him going, I think Michael Cole mentioned on commentary, they said, oh yeah, the rumours of Drew's futures are not true.
They referenced it.
I
love that.
In commentary. And there he was. And you can see sometimes, and even when you're far away in the stands, you can see that look in their eye where they realise, God, I missed this.
Yeah. No, he looked great. The crowd went wild for him. It was kind of sad that he wasn't on this card, right? That there was only one Englishman on the card. So very cool.
He's obviously Scottish.
Well, someone from the UK.
Come on.
UK. No. Wait, no. Actually, I take that back. I was right. I said it was sad that he wasn't on because there was just one. Was there anyone else from the UK other than Butch on the card?
No.
So that's what I was trying to say.
Only Brit.
Yeah, only Brit, but there was no other connections to the UK.
That's all right. I'll let you off. 2 a.m.
Wow.
Or 3 a.m.
It's actually like 3 a.m. But you know what I mean? Like there wasn't a lot of like, home. I mean, Cardiff was claiming Drew back in September.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, Sammy should have won in Montreal, but Drew should have won in Cardiff. I was like, hold on, behave.
Behave.
Come on.
Behave. All right.
Why should he win in Cardiff? Isn't that crazier than the statement that I just made? How far is Scotland from Cardiff? It's like a 5-hour trip.
Yeah.
That's like saying someone in New York should win because they're competing in Boston.
Well, yeah, but if they were the American, but they weren't.
They weren't.
You're right.
Anyway,
we're getting into
anyway,
sort of,
it was great, and also
identity politics between nations here.
Also,
it was great to see Drew.
It was lovely. Triple H, Paul Levesque was asked about Drew at the post-event press conference, and he was like, "Oh, he denied all that contract stuff and his future. So who knows? Drew versus Gunther would be fun, right?
I guarantee of fun.
Yeah.
Drew, as we know, puts on great matches all the time. Gunther puts on unbelievable matches all the time.
Can I tell you my favorite part of the Drew return?
Go on.
Favorite part of the Drew return was when mutual good friend of ours, Sam Stride, went nuts in the front row. I mean, what a pop, right?
BT Sports Social, Sam Stride going absolutely wild.
BJB himself went nuts.
Unreal.
That was amazing. That was a good moment. Shout out to Samuel.
Cody Rhodes, you spoke to. He beat Dominic. We spoke about it earlier. It was kind of a strange match on the card. It was almost there to allow those two to keep their momentum going.
Yeah.
Cody took off the what do you call them? 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Brace on his wrist. Is that
Okay.
right?
I thought it was just
casts.
like a
That's what I was looking
oven
for.
mitt.
An oven mitt. Yeah. A cricket stick and an oven mitt. Cody took it off. Beat Dominic. Dominic got loads of boos. Cody got loads of cheers.
It was great.
Always great to be there. How was he in the interview?
Oh my God. I mean, honestly, he was fantastic. Highlight of the night for me. Only interview we got afterwards, and it was a tremendous one. I highly recommend you check it out on the same page that you're watching this particular show when we're done, of course. He's always very introspective. Honestly, didn't spend a lot of time on the match itself because I just feel like the match was what it was. But spoke a lot about LA and WrestleMania, the disappointment, because we didn't speak to him after that. We spoke to him a lot leading into it, but not after it. And, he talked about being upset and the conversation with Triple H and where he goes from here and what he wants to do next. Says that he wants Brock Lesnar next. Also says that he doesn't think Brock is coming back. And if he's not coming back, he doesn't really know where he goes from here. It's going to be very interesting this summer what they do with Cody because we were talking, is Cody the number one babyface in the company? You say yes.
I think so, yeah.
I agree. Now, what do you do with him to keep that momentum? Because eventually we're going to have the Roman rematch, and eventually he's going to go for the belt. Is he going to be as hot as he was going into LA? That's going to be the big question. Because I still maintain he should have won in LA. Just like I maintain Sammy should have won in Montreal.
Mm.
Drew and Cardiff,
Drew and Cardiff absolutely should have won.
But he did also say, I asked him, hey, you're talking about finish the story. Winning Seth belt, is that finishing the story, the World Heavyweight Championship? He said, no, I need the other one. I need the one that my dad, couldn't get. So I thought that was interesting as well because I could see a scenario where he goes after Seth's belt, and I'm sure he's not going to turn it down, but I think the one that he really wants the moment, and if that's the case, they need to save the title win for that moment, in my opinion.
Straight after that, huge surprise, you went to get some popcorn.
Yeah.
And then John Cena came out.
And by the way, the popcorn ended up screwing me big time because in the middle of the Cody Rhodes interview, it somehow 3 hours later reared its ugly head and got stuck in my throat. A kernel got stuck in my throat. Never before. Been doing this since 2006. Popcorn kernel emerges, which at the time I was loving the popcorn. Now I have vowed to never eat popcorn while on the job. Some people won't drink on the job. I will not have popcorn on the job because of what happened during that interview. Horrible. I thought I was going to choke.
And how about that John Cena return?
Yeah, that was great stuff.
If I was eating popcorn, I would have choked on a kernel because I wasn't expecting it at all. When you're in the arena, they play these sort of adverts or these trailers for wrestlers, and there was a moment where Edge's music played, and then it was just this sort of 2-minute package about how cool Edge is. I was like, oh, that's good. John Cena's music played. I was like, oh, must be one of those. Sort of looked at my phone a little bit, and then everyone was going absolutely mad. I was like, oh, wait, he actually is coming back. And then, by far and away, the biggest pop of the night, he definitely lied to us about WrestleMania coming to London.
Why lie?
I refuse to believe. I refuse to believe it's coming to London.
Why not?
I don't know. I've been hurt before.
It could happen at Wembley. 2 nights at
It
Wembley.
could. They'd sell it out in about 1 second.
1 second, and they'll make a lot of money.
WrestleMania will never be at 2 p.m. in the afternoon or 3 p.m. in the afternoon.
I mean, listen, these days with streaming, I mean, this PLE was on in the afternoon. They just had Saudi in the afternoon. You know, the times have changed. I get it, WrestleMania, but I don't think it's as big of a deal. I really don't. And in fact, you know, in the UFC, Dana White always likes to say that the afternoon pay-per-views don't sell as well. And I could believe that. But I actually wonder if the afternoon WWE PLEs do better because it's very much geared towards kids. It's a lot easier. Like, I have 2 boys who are 11 and 9. A lot easier for them to stay up from, you know, 3 to 7 as opposed to 7 to 11. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to say it's never going to happen. Obviously, it's not going to happen next year. That's WrestleMania 40 in Philly. But could it happen afterwards? I don't know. Very quick, funny story. I went to go get something to eat, you know, because I thought it would be a nice break in the action. And then the Cody match ends, and everyone rushes to the concessions. And then I'm like, oh, the lines are getting longer here. But then his music hits, and all the people in the concession area are like, is that real? Is it not? Because as you said, they'll play other people's songs, but it was at a certain volume where it felt real, right? Like when they do it for the packages, it's at like a 6, but this was at like a 9. And then when they really realized that this was a real thing, it was like when there's fireworks going off and there's rats in the streets of New York and they all start like scurrying off. I'm not, by the way, comparing the fans to rats, but they did all scurry off back into the arena. And all of a sudden I was left alone to eat my popcorn in peace.
Wearing his posh suits and wrestling, calling everyone rats. Honestly,
No,
the game's
like,
changed.
They were
You.
just like,
It sounds like that kernel stuck in your throat was a tiny little piece of karma.
they
if you
moved
ask
so
me.
fast. That music hit, and they were like, "Is this real?" Is this not? And then it was like a. Brrr.
It was great though. And then Grayson Waller, who
I love Grayson.
you absolutely love him.
Big MMA fan, big fan of Chael Sonnen. He's been doing fantastic.
I mean, he's so good on the mic. He's so good. So, we were talking downstairs, and we were saying, well, I hope he ends up, you know, being good in the ring. And it almost doesn't matter when you're that good. I mean, the way people booed him. Australia are obviously humiliating England in the Ashes at the moment, as I know with your fondness for cricket sticks. But
I just can't believe that they squandered the 98. They had a 98 on Thursday, you know?
Ben
4
Duckett
wickets.
did indeed have a 98 on Thursday. Was it Thursday?
Thursday.
Grayson Waller getting his moment with John Cena.
Big for him.
Going from Melbourne for the hometown rub.
Also,
Enjoyed that.
you know, he's great. He's charismatic. It's a lot of fun. It's very funny to see an Australian as a heel because I feel like Australians are just so nice and lovable.
Well, you haven't been humiliated them
That's
ritually
true.
every
That's true.
2 years for your entire life.
I like him.
Yeah, I think he's great. He's brilliant.
Oh, I said I like apostrophe EM. Like I like him.
I like him
Australians,
too.
but I like him too.
Yeah. It's good to have competition. It's just been nice if it was more even. Where did we go next? Then it was the women's Money in the Bank.
What a match.
Such a good visual at the end.
What a match. What a finish. The finish was Becky Lynch and Bayley tied together by handcuffs. And there's YoSky, who leapfrogs over Bayley, which, you know, kind of like the Damien Priest-Finn thing is kind of fun because they're part of this faction. YoSky wasn't even in WWE this time last year. She returned at SummerSlam, right? End of July. And honestly, ever since Puerto Rico, for me, like the Puerto Rico match for her, they loved her in Puerto Rico. And I was like, wow, YoSky. And I know she's been in the game well over a decade and she's deserved this and has worked hard. But then to hear the pop for her today or tonight in England when she grabbed the briefcase, I was kind of blown away by that pop. Like I didn't really realize how popular she was. Were you surprised as well?
I think so. I think it's the same as when they go to Canada or Puerto Rico. I think a lot of the times when you get the crowds outside the US, that, you know, you call them like your smart crowds or whatever, who go mad for the ones that they feel like
LA
have
Knight
been
too,
on a
yeah.
journey. They've been on the longer journeys and they almost like deserve the extra
Yeah,
credit.
it was beautiful.
Um,
Also fresh, right?
yeah,
Someone who hasn't been in the title picture before and on a consistent level. So yeah, I loved it. And she's so great. She's very talented.
yeah, and that sort of superhuman charisma as well. Even the way, I think she took like a fairly basic kick to the stomach and threw herself backwards, and Yumi went, oh, God,
She had
that's
another
so
flip.
good.
We did a fantastic interview with her, by the way, in case you missed it. People don't know this about me. I'm a little bit fluent, a little bit in Japanese, so it was just tremendous. Like the stuff she was saying was really profound and candid, stuff that I hadn't heard her say before, even though it was a short interview. So, yeah. You think she goes Rhea or Asuka?
Ooh. Asuka.
Yeah.
I hope she holds onto it for a while, because there's obviously the whole story to play
Yeah,
out
no
with
rush.
damage control and
Right,
Bailey and
yeah.
everything there. Although they went to the press conference together, so maybe they're not, beefing
Yeah,
yet,
that
but
was weird. I
eventually-
was a little bit surprised about that, but they could still,
Yeah, they can, yeah.
treat. The ending though with the handcuffs, and even like when she's celebrating, it reminded me of a cartoon. Like she's celebrating, and you look at Becky's face, and she's like, not the villain, but there's the baby face on top, happy, the hero, and the two bad guys are tied together, and like, how do we get in this mess?
Yeah.
And they're like ho-humming it. It was very fun.
It was great. Yeah, really enjoyed it, and massively looking forward to seeing what YoSky can do with a big opportunity like that. Which leads us then to Seth freaking Rollins and Finn Balor.
Can I just say
Cool.
something? I feel like it's time now as World Heavyweight Champion. I feel like we should drop the freaking.
Drop the freaking. It's
Why?
the campaign.
Freaking, freaking needs to be just a thing you say from time to time to put an exclamation point. He's Seth Rollins. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
How long are we going with this?
You've never liked freaking.
I actually say freaking a lot, but not as like my name, not as a nickname. He's Seth Rollins, World Heavyweight Champ. Enough. It's not. It's kind of. This is a tangent, but the BMF title. The BMF title. Once they made that a thing, it stopped being cool. Once you make this part of the the announce, like when he comes out, they say, "Oh, weighing 200 and whatever pounds, Seth freaking Rollins." No, Seth Rollins, who's one of the best in the world. That was a great match.
Yeah, I want to see more of it.
You want to see it continue?
I feel like the way it ended with Damien distracting Finn, it could continue. I just want to see
That was fun.
Finn in great spots.
Yeah, he's the man. He's tremendous. He's unbelievable. But yes, I do think it's kind of fun if that feud continues, and then Damien shows up and is continuing to like tease cashing in. That's going to be fun. But there's a part of me that doesn't want to see Judgment Day break up.
I don't want to say. I think they're hitting their stride now as well.
Right, but if they continue with this, it's going to lead to a breakup, I would think.
Or one of them goes.
Why can't factions stay together for 2-3 years? Why does it have to be like 6, 7, 8, 9, 12 months?
They already lost Edge.
Yeah, but that was like right at the get-go.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great match. It was a great match, and this is why they brought that second title in the mix, right? Because there was no other. They have the tag match. The title isn't going to be on the line there, so it's serving its purpose, and it's nicer than the other belt, right?
It is a hell of a good looking belt. Although I do like the gold one. At least the new WWE Undisputed Unified Universal or the used title. At least it's a gold belt now.
Yeah. I just think the design is cool because it reminds me of the old WCW.
Yeah, it's got that big gold heritage.
NWA,
Also, I love the women's version of it. Rhea's
yes.
looks
Very
unbelievable.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah, fair play. Big fan of belt aesthetics in this hotel
Yeah,
room.
these things are fun. I mean, they're fun to talk about. The posters, the entrances, the ramp was different. That's what makes it fun.
So, SummerSlam next, which will be on TNT Sports, by the way. This is the last BT Sport
This
run.
is the last ever thing for BT Sport WWE.
I think so. I think it is. I believe so.
Not sure how to take this.
18th of July.
First event was?
First event. UK Tour. UK Tour. Go find the no filter of it. WWE UK Tour, BT Sport.
What year?
2019.
Month?
We had WWE for 3 months before the pandemic hit. So it was January 1st, 2020, we released that video.
And then you went to Royal Rumble.
And then we went to Royal Rumble. Drew won. We were like,
This is
New
amazing.
Broker, this is incredible. And then the pandemic hit.
Yeah. And then he won there too.
Yeah.
But imagine you would have been there when he won.
And then we continue to make great stuff.
Oh, you know
From
yourself.
our living rooms.
Yeah. Favorite
on
one?
laptops.
Favorite event?
Of all of them,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed WrestleMania this year.
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
I thought the SoFi Stadium was excellent. I also really enjoyed Money in the Bank last year in Vegas. Which is your favorite one you've worked on?
Part of me wants to say SummerSlam 2021 because none of you were there.
Yeah, yeah, it's
Pandemic,
always a
but
benefit.
that would not be fun. That was just a joke, of course. Royal Rumble is always fun, but you have to have the great location. Last year was really fun, Cardiff. London, Triple H interview, and then we went to Cardiff. This one was fun as well. I like the international ones. I know I'm saying a lot here and not really picking one. I'm going to go with Cardiff.
Yeah. Better atmosphere as well. Huge stadium.
Huge stadium,
interviews.
felt special, international.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Cardiff.
That was good. That was good. Right, well, it is 3:30. And you have a taxi in an hour.
Yeah, this is I mean, the dedication, right? I mean, I don't
know.
even know if the people, I don't even know if they appreciate it.
Of course they do. Especially when you then call them rats.
No, I was talking about it looked like rats. It looked like rats.
I know. We get you. You're a misunderstood man.
Very
Helwani,
misunderstood.
And you sometimes slip into Helwani character in day-to-day
Especially
life.
at 3 a.m.
But that's why we love you. That's why we love you. And the next time we'll see you, it will be TNT Sports. It will be SummerSlam. Who knows what's going to happen there, but we'll be covering it. TNT Sports for SummerSlam. Thanks for joining us. Loads of stuff coming up on the YouTube channel. BT Sport now, TNT in the future. It'll all be there, including an interview with this guy and Kevin Owens.
Ooh.
Keep them peeled. We'll see you soon.